We're here today celebrating Space Camp and the 2024 CubeSat Challenge with a pioneer in STEM and space exploration, former NASA astronaut Charles Gemar, also known as Sam. Thank you so much for giving your time and speaking with us today.
Oh, thank you, Benny.
So Sam, I was wondering if you could tell us what inspired you to start a career in the sciences and space exploration.
Sure. I think quite simply, I grew up during Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. And so the early NASA astronauts, the original 7, and the early NASA astronauts probably was the biggest inspiration in my young life, because when I was a kid, there were 3 careers you aspired to: policeman, a fireman, or an astronaut. And so for me, I always wanted to do that work, and ultimately everything fell into place through the years, and I was able to do that.
So could you tell us a memorable moment from your career being in the space industry or studying the sciences?
Well, there's many. I think that the biggest thing is just over the years having had the opportunity to participate in space flight. We conducted 3 separate space shuttle missions. First of all, for the Department of Defense. The second one was a Earth science mission, and then the last one was a material science mission. And so each one of them, had aspects of it that were extremely career rewarding. In addition to that, working in the Mission Control Center for probably 13 flights in a row as a capsule communicator, dealing with real-time problems, is some of the best experiences that I think I've had through my life.
Oh, that's amazing. You've completed over 580 hours in space. What do you do in your downtime in space?
Well, the reality is there really isn't any downtime in space. You're scheduled for 16 hours a day, and then you have 8 hours of rest. And the crew, in all my missions, the crew slept at the same time. So we all go down at the same time for our rest period. But during that 16 hours, just about every minute of that day is timelined out. Now, having said that, if you do have a break in the schedule, Earth observation is typically what we do. You're going to be plastered to a window someplace looking back at the Earth.
Oh, that's amazing. So we're here in the beautiful southern city of Kaohsiung. How do you see the Taiwan space industry evolving?
Yeah, and I think that we had a briefing this week from NASA, and I think, of course, it has a proud history. And as their initial kind of growth here has been satellite deployments. Now we're starting to see international outreach with the Japanese Space Agency, with NASA. So I think as that develops, you're going to see more international relationships there. There's obviously fiscal constraints as well to these big programs and your own manned programs initially, but I think over time there's an opportunity to fully develop that space-based industry.
You've been interacting with students all week during this CubeSat challenge. Do you have any advice for young people interested in STEM or a career in space exploration?
Sure. The students have been great. Been very polite, very inquisitive, very dedicated to the tasks this week. I guess what I would tell any student is, dream big, right? You can't have a big enough dream, but that's not enough, right? You have to be dedicated to the work that it takes to fulfill that dream. Otherwise, you're just a dreamer, right? And the world is full of dreamers. But if I were to give advice to young people today, have a dream, set goals for yourself, and don't be afraid to dedicate the work necessary to achieve those goals.
Well, thank you so much, Sam, for such a fascinating look into your career and the world of space exploration.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.